Welcome to the news in details now. It has now been exactly 18 years since Rwanda exited the transitional period that had begun after the genocide against the Tutsi was halted and the country was liberated in 1994. Now, in August 2003, President Paul Kagame had won an election that had featured the biggest number of candidates the country had ever seen since independence in 1962. Now, the elections effectively ended the 9-year transitional period, an important event in Rwanda's history.
Oya ntabwo nzacyo ntitugeze tuvuga ngo zamara imyaka 5 ahubwo abantu uzabiburaye bose baratubwira bizagira ryari bizarangira ryari.
We never said the transitional period would last for 5 years. It was people who kept asking us when it would end, and we told them that it would end when Rwandans felt secure. You can't tell people to go and cast their votes when they are not sure about their safety. That is why in 1998 the meetings at Village Urugwiro began, bringing together politicians, both veterans and current ones at the time, university lecturers, doctors and others who were invited to the meetings. The meetings continued until June 1999. The talks focused on how we would exit the transitional period, and those elections that would later take place were also discussed. The reason additional years became necessary is because the people who were drawing up the country's constitution were required to ask the general public for its input, and that took another 3 years before the constitution was finalized, and after that the elections were held. Then came new positions that never existed before in Rwanda, positions like the Auditor General and the Ombudsperson, as well as in finance. All the positions were also revised, and Gacaca courts also started operating. The country's economy began to be transformed. More schools were built, poverty levels dropped, with poor people reducing from 67 to 36%, and those in extreme poverty now no higher than in the teens. Rwanda is now respected globally, and Rwandans are appreciated, not like before when we went abroad, all people did was associate us with genocide. Now people commend us and our President Paul Kagame.
Bati babandi bakora genocide ndetse ntibabe bagwaho ijambo ariko ubu ngubu aho ugiye bagenda bakwakira yari umunyarwanda na president wanyu Kagame muri abakozi murameze neza
ariko abanyarwanda twishize hamwe twese aba mama batanga ibitenge byabo urabyibuka buri umwe atanga contribution.
Rwandans came together and contributed to make the elections possible, and they were held in transparency and security. As for the tears of the white people, you must understand that they had invested a lot to see Twagiramungu and Nainzira win, but reality turned out different. We should thank God that people chose right and voted for President Paul Kagame. There is a reason they voted for him, because after the RPF halted the genocide against the Tutsi and gave a vision to build up the country and promote unity and reconciliation among Rwandans, ensuring development for all, people understood that it was not just words, that he follows through on what he says he will do, and that is why they continued voting for him and asked that Article 101 of the Constitution be amended. In 2003, I was a parliamentarian, part of the Standing Committee on National Budget and Patrimony. The country's budget was no more than 400 billion Rwandan francs, and now it has grown to close to 4 trillion. Most of that money comes from the taxes Rwandans pay. Before the genocide against the Tutsi, Rwandans did not pay taxes because many did not feel the country belonged to them. And now they finance close to 70% of their own budget. You understand what that means.
Ikindi ntajya nibagirwa nyine n'amagambo abaturage babaga bakubwira igituma bazamutora abari nabo bakakubwira impamvu batazamutora. Hari umusaza watubwiye ati ntabwo namutora kuko yavuze ngo ntitugakubita abagore.
I will never forget the reasons people were giving for planning to vote for him or against him. One old man told me he would not vote for him because he was stopping men from beating their wives. By saying that, he didn't realize that he was actually making him even more popular because there are more female voters than men. There were many factors, and remember that it was the first time people had seen more than one candidate standing for the presidency since the country was granted independence. Over the last 18 years, so much progress has been made in all sectors. I believe those years are the ones that gave us a fixed approach as to how to take on long-term development, and the results are clear to see. Of course, not everything is done as it should be, but that is not because there is something wrong with the projects themselves rather than the people supposed to implement them. Some people may not have the integrity or hard work to implement some of those programs, but without a doubt, anyone willing to do what is right has the mechanism, laws and guidance in place to do it.
Ikigaragara ubu ngubu ushaka gukora wese afite inzira yakoreramo, afite mechanism, afite amategeko, afite n'umurongo.
Residents across the country say they are ready to get enough yields for this 2028 crop season in the autumn season, as they have already prepared, as others also have planted seeds to the ground already. Some of these farmers have already planted seeds due to the rain. Others have already prepared their fields and even put in manure so that once the rainy season officially begins, they can start planting. They say they are ready for the harvest because they already have the seeds and fertilizers.
Twiteguye gutera imbuto, abenshi ntago turazishyira mu butaka.
We are ready to plant the seeds. Many of us haven't started, but we are ready and have the manure and fertilizers. We first wait for the rainy season to officially begin before we start planting.
Ariko izo ntago ziba zihagije, dutegereza ko imvura igwa neza none tukabona gutera.
However, farmers pointed that areas where the rain hasn't reached, the land has become so hard that it is now a challenge to farmers. They say they shall start preparing the land once it starts raining. Our main challenge right now is the hardening of the land because of the recent weather, so we are not able to plant on it. The National Weather Service has recently announced that heavy rains will begin after the first 2 weeks of September. The Director General of the Center, Aimable Gahigi, says there are some areas where the rain will fall later.
Nk'ubu ku itariki 31 barahita babona uko ukwa 9 ukwezi kwa nzeri kuzaba kwitwaye.
Each month we provide a weather forecast, the next 10 days, 5 days or 3 days, and each day so that a person can plant ahead according to the forecast, whether short term or long term.
The Rwanda Agriculture Board says farmers have already received the fertilizers and they are already preparing to plant seeds during the rainy season. The head of RAB, Izamuhaye Jean-Claude, says farmers should be well prepared in order to attain the expected harvest or produce.
We've supplied the seeds across the country at a rate of 77.8% through fertilizer suppliers. As for fertilizers, we've exceeded our goal. So most farmers now have the seeds and the fertilizers, and the land has been prepared. And as for areas where rain hasn't started falling, they will start planting as soon as it does. We encourage farmers to start preparing their land and start planting where possible.
During the 2022 egg crop season, 776,654 hectares of combined land will be planted on, and 596,000 hectares of it are already prepared. Maize will be planted on 253,000 hectares of land, beans on 365,000 hectares, potatoes on 65,000 hectares, cassava on 58,000 hectares, rice on 14,000 hectares, soybeans 5,000 hectares, and vegetables on 8,000 hectares. Other common crops will be planted on 423,000 hectares of land, including bananas, sweet potatoes, sorghum, peas, and other crops. Now, members of the National Women's Council in Nyarugenge District have noted that women have continued to play their part in the national development despite a number of challenges persisting, such as a lack of confidence among some females and gender-based violence. Now, women are being called on upon to play their role in local elections as well. Take a look.
The members at the local level say they will continue working hard to increase awareness among peers and note that the National Women's Council has been helping them in this respect.
There is still a problem of perceptions, but we are going to work to address it, fighting gender-based violence in our settlements, and we are going to coordinate with authorities at the cell level, then up to the sector to fight anything that hinders development of women.
Senefitiye akamaro kanini cyane abagore
The National Women's Council is very important for women because that is where we are taught how to change our mindsets and start improving our welfare. We meet female entrepreneurs and they tell us how they started their businesses, and small business women also share their experiences of striving to develop.
Officials in Nyarugenge district commend the progress women have been making, engaging in business and starting income-generating projects, but also stress that there needs to be a major shift in mindsets if more progress is to be made, with things like the problem of teen pregnancies addressed. Women are being called upon to play their role in local elections as well and stand for election in different positions. The National Women's Council was created to promote gender equality and encourage women to exchange ideas on how they can play a greater role in national development.
Cattle breeders in Gatsibo district say the livestock insurance program is good, but some decided to quit the program due to the fact that after their colleagues lost their cows, the insurance did not compensate, hence the rest found this disappointing. They are urging the relevant authorities to reform the functioning of this program. Since the program of livestock insurance scheme began across Rwanda in April 2019, Gatsibo district has lagged behind in the program, where 946 out of 71,483 cows have been insured across the district so far. Gasana James is a farmer in Gwimbogo sector who joined the program from the start, and he says that it is a good program. However, he decided to quit it due to the fact that when his colleagues lost their cows, which were registered under the insurance program did not compensate for them.
nagiye mu bwishingizi bw'amatungo inka zanjye nzishyiramo zimaze kujyamo.
When I joined the program, I was supposed to get a document with signed agreements from Soros, but up until now it's been a year and I haven't got it. Good enough, none of my livestock has died, but my colleagues have lost their cows and they had registered them under the insurance, but they were never compensated. And by the looks of things, this case could end up in court because those working in the program have been denying the payments. We've informed the authorities and they have made follow-up. And in case this gets to court, my colleagues have enough proof because they are veterinarians and they used to do daily checkups on the cows. So in this district, we have become discouraged by this fact. However, this program in other respects is good.
The wish of the cattle breeders is that the relevant authorities, especially the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources, improve this livestock insurance scheme in a way that if one loses one of their livestock, it should be compensated for.
All I ask of the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources is to improve this program in such a way that breeders will know that their investment is secure. And even though they encouraged us to join, and we did, the authorities need to follow up in order for improvements to be made.
In this livestock insurance scheme, the breeder pays 60% of the insurance fee and the government pays for him or her the remaining 40%. For example, one cow is worth 1.5 million Rwandan francs and the insurance fee is 67,500, which means the breeder pays 40,500 and the government pays the remaining 27,000, and the payment is made annually. The Vice Mayor of Gatsibo District, in charge of economic development, Manzi Teojan, says that they are aware of this issue and that there are ways to solve it. He also urges all farmers in general to join this program and affirms that its campaign is still ongoing.
We are aware of this situation and we had to sit down with Soros and other institutions. It has been solved. Letters of payments have been issued to the farmers. All that is remaining is to ensure that they get their compensation as soon as possible. All obstacles have been removed. The problem was with the vets and the workers at the insurance program that were not sharing the information or updating the farmers. Otherwise, livestock insurance is a government program, so I urge them not to be discouraged as we are still doing a campaign for it.
The district aims to register other 800 cows in this insurance program during this fiscal year of 2021-2022. 750 RPF youth in Musanze district have completed their training on how to properly abide by the principles of the party, observing discipline and being innovative and having a thirst for knowledge.
Participants in the training came from the 15 sectors of Musanze district and noted on the importance of what they were taught.
batuganirije ku mateka y'u Rwanda.
They taught us about Rwanda's history and the ideology of the RPF Inkotanyi party. They also taught us on the importance of the role we must play in nation building as the youth.
Mu kubaka igihugu cyacu.
Iyo twize ayo mateka y'u Rwanda tukayahuza n'intekerezo ngari y'umuryango wa FPR Inkotanyi.
By learning that history and the broader strategy of the RPF Inkotanyi party, we are better able to understand our place and role in the strategy that the party has committed to implementing for the sake of the people. The best performing youth in the training were presented with awards, and organizers noted on the importance of those trained passing on their knowledge to others. 750 youth participated in the training, and the best performers were presented with bicycles, computers and smartphones.
On behalf of the entire news production team, thank you for your company. I'm Jane Mutoni. Bye for now.